Hello and welcome to Week 8 of the Downey Sports College Football Show. I'm Jake Miller. He's Paul Phillips. It's another great week of college football, similar to the last. A little bit of chaos last weekend.
A good amount, yeah.
And
nothing like we saw the week before.
No,
but it was a good follow. Yeah, it was a good follow up though.
Florida beats Tennessee. We might be talking a little differently.
Alabama loses South Carolina.
This week could have gone a couple different ways.
Exactly.
But some big matchups in this week. But as always, we'll start with the recap, do a little real or fake, head into the Week 8 slate, talk about this ECU Army matchup coming out, a little pick six, and then you got a pile of jersey matchups this week.
Good week for some
There are some nice uniforms that have come out for this week. As always, if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Twitter, give us a follow, like, retweet. Feel free to ask stuff in the chat. We do our best to answer it as quickly as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll start out with the Red River shootout, if you can call it that, because one team came.
It.
Well, I just mean one team came to shoot out, the other one didn't.
One team got shot.
Yeah,
kind of how that went.
Yeah, Oklahoma showed up to a gunfight with a fork.
Yeah.
And it was already stuck in them. Their offense is absolutely putrid. That continues to be a theme for them, even though Ewers did not look like he was on his game, so to speak.
But I mean, coming out of injury, basically, I mean, like he's getting back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he played a perfectly fine game. He wasn't anything special. He wasn't the game breaker that we're used to him being, but he didn't need to be either. So, I mean, you got
Tyler Mott's injured, if anyone cares. Oh, the Detroit Red Wings. Is Venables on the hot seat?
I feel like he's got to be. Just because we know what he's capable of defensively. He hasn't shown that as a head coach. And him and his staff are physically incapable of trotting out any sort of offense, it seems like. So
I mean, they're arguably the best defense in the SEC, but their offense is putrid in levels that are rival the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
and obviously Texas, very explosive, efficient offense, but to go out there and just still let them just have their way with you.
Yeah.
I expected a much better performance from that defense. I had a feeling it was going to be a pretty one-sided game, but I thought it was going to be one of those games where the scoreboard doesn't quite reflect it, but the scoreboard pretty much reflected it. Oklahoma never had a chance.
No.
From the opening kick, it was over already.
It was, pretty much over from the word go. Not much to say. We talked about a little bit about the look-ahead factor for Texas, but that obviously did not play in at all. Move on to Ole Miss and LSU.
What a game.
Game ends up going to overtime.
Despicably so. Ole Miss never should have came close to
not really
that game away.
Called it.
Yeah.
had a weird feeling that LSU was going to win. Not doing well for the under 9 bet, but
we'll get to a spot that could help us in a little bit.
Yeah. Ole Miss's lack of offense the last couple weeks has been very kind of interesting. They've been shut down pretty much since Kentucky.
Yeah, and
so Kentucky, South Carolina, and now LSU. Outside of, I'd say Kentucky and South Carolina both have good defenses, but
especially South Carolina's front four
is
lethal because they're deep there too. But Ole Miss, what's crazy is just how explosive they were to start the season because they didn't play anybody.
Yeah.
But they're still based on averages, the leaders in every basic major statistical category in the SEC.
Yeah.
And if you just started watching Ole Miss the last couple of weeks, you'd have zero idea that was the case because they just look like a shell of themselves once they've actually started to play SEC opponents, And so I'm kind of worried for their outlook. They're already, a 2-loss team now?
Yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. November 9th matchup with Georgia is must win for them.
Is that in Oxford?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is must win. Move on to the game of the year so far.
Yeah,
Until maybe this
unreal.
week, which has kind
Yeah.
of been a theme this season. Ohio State goes to Eugene and takes on the Oregon Ducks. Ohio State's defense not as good as we thought.
No, because I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you that, number one, I didn't think Oregon had played their best football yet, which I was right on that. But number two, Ohio State had been putting up these gaudy numbers, which fair play to them, but they hadn't really played anybody yet.
Ain't played
They
nobody ball.
exactly. They hadn't really shown against. I mean, they played who Michigan State is probably the best opponent they've played so far up until that point. It's not who they played who Purdue, or am I tripping? I can't remember, but it was
Maryland.
Maybe so, yeah. But either way, I think Michigan State so far is the best opponent that they had played, and that's not really anything to base a prediction on as far as that defense. So that was Iowa. That's right. But even still, you're not. I mean, you give up 10 points to Iowa, and that's a fail.
Yeah.
So, but this game worked out very well for me as far as my predictions for it. I had a feeling that Oregon was just going to go in there and kind of shock Ohio State, just to like surprise them from the get-go. And that's Dylan Gabriel had his best game of the year, I think, so far.
I had written down Dylan Gabriel coming out party.
Yeah, exactly. That defense played well.
Their defense did play well. The intentional 12th man on the field from
that was
former Georgia defensive coordinator Dan Lanning.
The NCAA pulled a NASCAR and already shut that down. Yeah. They already patched that loophole.
Oh my!
There's a power play goal for the New York Rangers. It's 2-0.
Wow. Has Panarin got both of them?
Yes, he does.
Nice. Yeah, definitely saw the deep ball, which you haven't really seen much from him this year.
Yeah.
Throwing it well. Other than that, just 5 seconds left. If you're Will Howard, you gotta have a little bit more than that in your head.
Exactly. But also, I don't know if he was told anything from any coach on that sideline before that play. You gotta know that ball's got to be out ASAP, and if not, you can take off and run. Get out of bounds.
I don't even know if you can there.
I agree, but I'm saying that's worst case scenarios. Like, you got to at least throw a prayer up to somebody, because if Jeremiah Smith can, as long as he's covered by less than 4 people, he's got a chance of coming down with the ball. So you got to throw the ball up at some point, and you definitely can't just run and go down and let the clock run out, because they didn't have a timeout left, right?
No,
so,
they had no timeouts left.
Piss poor game management at the end of that game.
Ryan Day continues to collapse in major spots. This has been a theme for him. I think he is 1-7 against top 5 teams, I think so. Something like that.
He just every big game puts on a masterclass of how to get out coached, and I don't think he's on the hot seat, but he's another one that his seat could be feeling a little bit of heat.
Tell you that fan base is not a huge fan of them right now.
They're pretty out on him at least at the moment. So he'll do something to buy back their faith, at least for another few games or another season. But I don't know. I feel like he is simply not fit to coach that program in its current state. Because this team should. I still think they're the second best team in the country, but I think that gap widened a lot this weekend. But that's about all I got on that game. Is that I was right, and I tried to tell you.
I was right, and I tried to tell you. Last game we had on the slate from last week was Iowa State at West Virginia. Don't have a ton of takeaways from this. It's about like watching grass grow.
I will be completely honest. I didn't watch a second of this game.
I
didn't watch much of Red River, to be honest. I had to go back and watch a condensed game, but it was nap time.
All I really got from Iowa State was good defense and a balanced offense, and that's going to be the key to their season.
I think they're the favorite to win. Like, they're clearly the favorite to win. But I just think that staying power the rest of the season. I think Iowa's a better team, and I think it'll 100% be those two matching up come championship week. But I think Iowa State's the clear favorite to win that conference as we speak right now. But BYU, another good performance against a very underwhelming or underperforming, but talented Arizona team this week too. So I'll give them their due credit. But yeah, I think Iowa State is clearly the Big 12 favorite at the moment.
All right, we'll move us on to real or fake here. Got a lot of teams this week. Some repeat offenders.
Hit me.
Alabama, real or fake?
The last 10 quarters of football they've played
have not been good.
Garbage. They're just
one miracle catch against Georgia. They could have they could have 2 losses. South Carolina just holds on. They could have 3.
That missed field goal was the difference in that game. It's tough because they're Alabama, and we know the talent on that roster. And we know how good of a coach Kalen DeBoer is. I just don't think it's all gelled yet. Obviously, it looked like it did after the Georgia game, but here we are now immediately following that in the last couple of weeks. They just have not looked good. So I'm going to say fake.
I don't really blame you. I'm going to say real for the moment.
I think they are too, but just in their current state, I think they're a fake football team.
We'll find out real soon.
Yeah, we will.
They're playing a team I left off this list, and if I felt like doing more than 5, there's a lot of people that could be on this list right now. It's been the easiest this list has been.
Yeah, honestly.
Number 2, I got Ole Miss.
I think they're fake.
I think they're the new biggest fraud in the country now that I'm done with Missouri.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're not even real or fake worthy. They're just not a good football team.
No.
I mean, the first half of that UMass game, UMass kind of had their way. Not had their way, but like didn't play like, or that game in the first half was not how an SEC team against UMass should go.
Yeah.
But moving back to Ole Miss, we were on them before the season, calling out how fake they were, benefiting from a schedule that they've proven they can't even manage that week's schedule. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of out on Ole Miss, at least for now. I think they're pretty.
The way they're looking, I'm definitely out on them. I think they are the new leaders in the fake club.
I think
now
so too.
Like I said, I've wiped my hands clean in Missouri. I think I'm done with that. They'll catch another L to Alabama more than likely. Number 3, got a team that required a second half comeback last weekend against a very mediocre USC team.
Yeah.
I have the Penn State Nittany Lions on here.
I'm going to say real. But because the thing is with that USC team is that they're so talented.
Yeah.
They are just so poorly coached.
Lincoln Riley could be on this list.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he can. I think he's just fake. But I think Penn State's real. I think it's yet another season where Drew Aller is he's not perfect all the time, which you can't really expect anybody to be because he's not that kind of guy. But he's been more than good enough for this team. Obviously, they've had some slip-ups like the Bowling Green game and this past weekend. But I think Penn State's a legitimate team. They're a playoff team, in my opinion. I think they honestly might be one of the top 5 teams in the country because there's about 14 teams you could put in the top 5 of the country right now. So I think Penn State is plenty real, at least as we speak right now. What do you think?
I'm teetering on them. I don't think they have the ability to beat Ohio State.
I don't either.
And do they play Oregon as well?
I
believe they do.
Let me pull up.
See if I can beat you to it.
Yeah,
going the old-fashioned way. But I don't have confidence in him or that coach to really do much.
Good news is they're on a bye this week.
They are on a bye this week. They can clean some things up. They got Washington. No, they do not play.
I was gonna say, I don't think they play any of the big time.
No, they just play Ohio State.
Okay, yeah, so they do get Ohio State. That's right.
Yeah. But, so they'll probably make the playoffs. I just don't know how good they are.
I mean, I don't think they're necessarily a national championship team.
No, but
that again, it comes down to coaching. But
this playoff was built for them.
Oh, 100%. But I don't think they're going to figure out a way at all to not make the playoff. I think they're pretty pretty square in there as long as they take care of business the rest of the rest of the way. But I'm real on them for now. That could definitely change, obviously,
I'm
but
gonna
I'm gonna
assume
say
it's gonna
real.
get fake quick.
Definitely could.
Brent Venables is fired at the end of the season. Real or fake?
I think the possibility of that is very real because he's at a program where they just simply won't take that. Like that's just
Yeah.
not it's not acceptable because they weren't good last year.
No.
Ever since he's been there, he's benefited from talent that wasn't his originally, and now
I mean, if you're
it's
him, I don't
just
know how you let Dylan Gabriel walk.
exactly that's ridiculous. It's
Um,
just they're in a constant. It's fairly slow, but constant regression from what we've seen so
yeah.
far, and I don't know if he's capable of climbing them out of that. So I'm gonna say real. The fact that there's a possibility that he could be
Yeah,
fired.
I'm going with real. I don't even think it's a possibility. If he goes 7-5 again, he's gone.
He's got to be.
Last on here, I got Miami, and I'm gonna tell you right
They're
now,
tough.
I think they're fake. I think they're fake. I think they're everything Miami's ever been the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
They are fake as shit.
I think I'm on board with you there, just because.
And I still think they win this weekend.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
we'll get there, but
I think that they're going to be playing for a conference championship. I think
more than
and
likely,
then
I don't think they're any good.
no, they're going to figure out a way to get in the
I think
playoff.
Cam
and then
Ward's
just get-
good.
Oh yeah, he's if this year was another year of just giving the Heisman to a quarterback, he's the Heisman favorite.
Yeah.
But I just
Too bad there's a running back in Boise, Idaho.
exactly and
and
and a two-way player in Boulder, Colorado. But the thing with Miami is we won't ever really know just how real or fake they are because of
yeah.
the schedule they play, just because the ACC is so god awful this year outside of them and Clemson. But then again, with Miami, we don't know just how good or bad they are. So I don't know. I'll lean fake there just because I haven't seen anything for them to really show me that they're legitimate, so
Think they're fake, and we'll just jump right into the Week 8 slate there because they're the first matchup we're highlighting. They are at Louisville. Did not get the spreads like a dum-dum, but I think they are a 1-point favorite, if I believe.
I believe that's correct.
Let me double check that. Miami averaging 46 points per game, 31 points per game for Louisville. I'll tell you why that's important in a later segment.
Yeah.
But two offenses that I think can really score. Two lackluster defenses.
Yes, but
5. That's the spread.
Okay. I don't love that at all if I'm a Miami bettor. But my thing with this game is we both just talked about how fake Miami is.
Mm-hmm.
If you just compare these two teams strictly from a statistical standpoint, obviously Miami has the X factor being Cam Ward. That both teams very well quarterbacked, but Cam Ward's different simply.
Yeah.
But statistically, just from a yardage and scoring standpoint, you put those two together, Miami is the best statistical offense in the nation. And you compare that to Louisville, who's good, just not on that level. But then defensively, against both the run and the pass, Miami's just clearly the better football team, from what I can tell, at least. Statistics say that, but also just obviously they've shown spurts where they look kind of lost on defense. But I think as a whole,
30 points to Virginia Tech. I think they gave up 30 last week.
Yeah, but then again, I just think comparing these two teams, obviously Louisville's going to have the environment. They're going to have their home field. That crowd's going to be, I can only assume, very good and up for this game, and I can only assume their players would be too. But I just think on paper, this is a game that Miami should handle. But then again, they've had multiple of those games,
and it has not gone that way.
So I'm going to lean Miami, but I don't love that spread at all, though.
No, I wouldn't touch the spread with a 10-foot pole, but I lean Miami as well. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. But I don't think Louisville's got the the guys to keep up with Miami.
I don't
Like you
either.
said, Miami is a more talented roster.
They've shown Miami throughout the season has shown me more than Louisville has.
Oh, yeah,
And so
definitely.
even given the
Cam Ward's going to get his. So,
yeah, I mean this game is neutral site or at Miami. It's at least a touchdown spread, if not
yeah.
closer to 10. So, I don't know. I think Miami rightfully is probably a 5-point favorite in this game, but I'm not touching that at all. But I'm like I said, I'm gonna lean Miami here just because I think put these two teams together on paper, Miami is just simply the better team.
I agree with that. Can I find the other one quickly? Probably not. There it is. Michigan at Illinois. Michigan 3.5-point favorite. I like Michigan in the spot for what it's worth. Third string quarterback starting. Maybe he can throw the ball.
Maybe.
Defense is still, it's not last year's or the last 2 years' defense. Still strong. I mean, Edwards is still a good running back. I mean, he's probably not as advertised, but he's still a really good running back.
Looked like it a lot this season, but he's definitely shown that he's still Donovan Edwards. But obviously new quarterback this week with their third string.
Yeah.
But Michigan, it's not a surprise. The worst passing offense in the Big Ten. Like I said, maybe a new quarterback changes that, but I'm just not in on that offense at all.
I mean, at least make the other team respect the fact that you're gonna throw.
Yeah, exactly.
And not have 8 guys in the box the whole game.
And maybe just with a quarterback no one knows about, they'll come out swinging through the air. But yeah. I don't think they will, just because I don't think that they're going to want to put themselves in a potential hole that a quarterback with no experience is almost inevitably going to do. But I think defensively, Michigan's better run defense. Illinois, potentially better pass defense. But this game also being at Illinois, in my opinion, it kind of feels like a matchup made for Illinois. Yeah. So I'm leaning the Fighting Illini, but I'm glad we differ on something at least. Yeah. I think you factor in just how Michigan has looked this season, which is not good whatsoever. And then Illinois being what they've been so far, which is a surprise, but they've been a legitimately good football team. No. And they get this game at home. That's enough for me to lean Illinois there, and I'll revisit this game at a later point.
Fun. Fun. Next, I got my real or fake game of the week. I got the 100%. University of Alabama.
Yep.
At Tennessee. Alabama also a 3.5-point favorite. I
don't see that. I got this game too. I like
Alabama.
This is almost.
What's caused Nico's problem? What has caused Nico problems this season?
See, I've refused to watch Tennessee after the state game. So
their offensive line, and I'm pretty sure they have an injury at left tackle. Not a great spot you want to have an injury.
No, not at all.
Since Alabama runs a ton of nickel, their front six, so to speak, is on par for what an Alabama defense should look like.
Yeah.
That secondary suspect as all get out. We've seen it numerous times this season. You can beat them deep. He hasn't been a great deep thrower this year.
He hasn't.
He has kind of looked similar to their quarterback last year in that aspect.
Yeah.
Again, think this kid's immensely talented. He is a freshman playing in the SEC, playing what is still Alabama. It might not be Nick Saban anymore, but I think this is a tough spot for Tennessee. I lean Alabama just for that reason. I think Milrose at this point is probably the better quarterback.
Oh, I'd say so, yeah.
As good as Tennessee's defense looked, I still think I lean Alabama's defense. Alabama at the skill position, I think, is a little bit better.
Yeah.
And Tennessee has not looked like themselves either. I mean, that's why I have it as the real or fake game of the week.
Yeah.
Neither of these teams have looked like themselves the last 2 weeks.
Yep. I mean, this game could genuinely go a million different ways. I lean Tennessee, though. These are the second and third highest scoring teams in the SEC. behind Texas. Tennessee leads the SEC in rushing, though, which is something that I'm very intrigued about because they're going to want to throw the ball,
Yeah.
but they are more than capable of just putting the ball on the ground and just marching down the field against an Alabama team that hasn't necessarily 100% figured out how to stop the run.
Secondary, and their run defense has been lackluster to their standards.
Exactly. But then, I mean, comparatively to the SEC as well, though. But with Tennessee's rushing attack, how it kind of surprised me. I figured they'd just air raid all the way this season, but they've proven that they can run the ball just fine.
Yeah.
But then again, as long as Nico has enough time to throw the ball, which obviously offensive line injuries are going to hurt that a little bit. If they can combine their rushing attack with enough tests against that Alabama secondary, like you said, I think Tennessee's primed to not blow this game open, but put themselves in position to definitely win this game. I think Alabama could very well win this game, but I'm leaning Tennessee. Especially again, like I said with the Illinois-Michigan game, this game's at Neyland.
Yeah,
Tennessee's gonna have 100,000
obnoxious Tennessee fans,
just absolutely stupid humans wearing orange, just screaming bloody murder whenever Alabama has the ball. So I don't know. It depends on how much that environment will get to Alabama because a lot of their big games have been at home so far this season. Like the Georgia game was in Tuscaloosa. So this is probably their first true like massive road test. And I don't know. I feel like it could get to them. So I lean Tennessee. But like I've said multiple times now, this game could go any which way.
Last game we got on the slate here could be the new game of the year.
Definitely
after Saturday. Definitely the game of the week. We got the number 1 Texas Longhorns hosting the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs. Texas 4.5-point favorite, probably rightfully so.
Yep.
Texas has looked like the most complete team in the country all year.
100%.
Even without Quinn Ewers most of the season. Quinn looked shaky last week, but he's got 6 more days of not playing and rehab under his belt.
Plus, if he goes out there and doesn't look good,
the backup option is not the worst thing in the world.
They got a Manning with the ability to run behind him.
Georgia's got a problem with backups being put in.
Yeah,
that's terrifying. Why did you bring that up?
See,
that's not fun. I didn't think about that.
Take a guess at where I'm leaning in this game.
I have a good feeling. Georgia's pass offense has looked pretty good so far. Yeah. Beck seems to be moving the outside of that first half against Alabama has moved the ball well all year.
Yep.
Obviously, Texas's offense is the best in the nation.
Yep.
Steve Sarkisian's a wizard. A lot of players coming back from Georgia this week. It looks possibility Tate Ratledge is added back to the offensive line.
That's huge. That absolutely
2 running back injuries.
Of a human.
Yeah.
What a unique looking human being.
Yeah.
I love that.
I want to say Walker's a possibility on defense, and that's really is the key to the game for me.
Yeah.
Is not necessarily keep Quinn contained, but you got to put someone at his feet.
Yeah.
Because you can't let him get comfortable in the pocket, and he's very much like Carson Beck in that aspect that he isn't somebody that you're going to see scramble a ton. But if the lane's open, he's going to go.
Yeah. And he's more than capable of it, too. He can pick you up some yards.
Isaiah Boyd's a little banged up for them. I can't remember their number 2 wide receiver. Isaiah Bond is a little banged up. Their number 2 wide receiver is just as good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they got 2 guys they're going to have to look at, and they're going to try to dial things up.
Yeah. And I think this could be a huge game for Malachi Starks. I think this game could be
he's gonna have to have a big game.
Exactly. I think it could be a matchup made for him to where if you don't know his name, you might find out this game. My thing is, I don't know if you've seen my screen or not.
No, I've been trying not to look.
This could be this is not a padlock stat, as Josh Pate would say, but take a guess at how, I guess you're looking at. Take a guess at how many points per game Texas gives up, at least so far this season.
Oh, it's got to be low, but you know what they've also done, Paul? They ain't played nobody, Paul.
True.
They ain't played nobody. I'm gonna
but
say
they've made teams look worse than they actually are too. They've bodied teams.
I don't know, 11.
They give up 6.3 points per game. I don't care if they haven't played anybody. That's impressive.
Yeah.
And it's not like they haven't played anybody. I mean, they're just coming out of the biggest game on their schedule every year, at least for the fans.
Yeah.
Red River is circled on the calendar for both
Michigan
teams
offense, we know can't score.
Very true.
They played Mississippi State before they put the kid, Trevor Van Braun or whatever.
Yeah.
The kid can actually play a little bit.
He's all right.
Not that Georgia didn't shoot themselves in the foot about 100 times against them, but the kid can play good bit.
There's another thing, though. Georgia prone to kind of getting in their own way at times.
Yeah, they have not played a 4-quarter game all season. The only way they win this game is playing 4 quarters of the caliber of football. I think they're capable, and I think most of the country thinks they're capable of playing. They're just yet to put it on screen.
Exactly. But then again, this could be just like I said about Oregon going into this game, or going into that game against Ohio State last week. Georgia most likely hasn't played their best football yet.
No.
I don't know if Texas
they've come close.
I don't know if Texas has either, but I don't know. I think pace of play is going to be huge in this game because Texas want to get out. They're going to want to get out and go. If Georgia can slow them down and just kind of slow the entire game down, I think that's going to play hugely into their favor. At least that's my opinion. You've obviously watched a whole lot more Georgia than I have this season, but I feel like that could be a huge X factor for Georgia is if they not only can they're plenty good enough to hang with them and win this game, but if they can kind of from the get-go kind of dictate the pace of the game and kind of play it there like in a way that Texas is more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I lean Texas in this game. Again, they get the home field advantage in this game. But I'm never going to be out on Georgia until they prove me otherwise. So I lean Texas by a whisker. But again, this game could go. That's a who cares pick because this game could tie if it was in the NFL.
I think it's going to be a for sure 1-score game.
Oh, 100%.
And based on that, I'm probably going to butcher the stat because I don't remember. I didn't write down Steve Sarkisian's record, but I'm pretty sure he is 7-12 in 1-score games. Kirby Smart is 19-9 at the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
At 1-score games. Running back scares me because I do agree. I think Georgia's going to have to be able to run the ball if they want to do that. Tate Ratledge being able to play would help a lot.
That would help drastically.
Every once in a while, I get funny feelings, and I've been nervous about this game all week, and it doesn't change the fact that I'm still nervous about this game as an avid Georgia fan. Got a funny feeling. That's all I'll say. I got a funny feeling. Go Dogs.
There you go.
I'm contemplating something. I know you're a maybe, but Matt will probably be here if there will be a live halftime report on Twitter.
Yeah,
during the Georgia game. It is a possibility. There might be one during the ECU game, depending on how poorly it's going.
Or how well it's going.
Or how poorly it's going. Talking about that, we are facing the number 21 team. My bad.
I did one more game that we left off, but I wanted to give a little bit, especially because both of us have a monetary investment related to this game.
Need them to get to need them to get to 3 losses ASAP.
LSU is going to Fayetteville to take on the Hogs. I don't know if Arkansas wins this game, but I like them a lot in this spot.
I have a funny feeling.
That feeling is very funny.
I have a funny feeling.
I'm a funny guy, and I like that feeling. I think just keep your eyes out for that game. Is all I got to say. If you're feeling LSU so far,
LSU is very much on upset watch.
Pay attention to that game. We can move on if you'd like.
They were a team I wanted to kind of put on real or fake, but they've looked real right now. So
yeah, I know.
I'm giving them their flowers. Zach, if you're in here, I'm giving your boys their flowers.
I will too. Nussmeier is
legit.
I just feel like this is more just not saying LSU is an inferior team by any means to Arkansas, but this just feels like one of those spots. that
it doesn't feel good.
it truly doesn't. Well, for me, it feels great.
Yeah.
Considering
Yeah, fair.
considering the attachment I have to
Where are
that
they playing
game.
that game?
Yeah,
I know it's Arkansas is the home team, but is it? They're
I
not playing in
think
Jerry's World, are they?
no, that's
No, that's
Arkansas
A&M.
A&M.
Yeah, that's Arkansas A&M. 2.5-point favorites, LSU. I think that tells you all you need to know.
Yep.
It's going to be a good game.
Go Hogs. Woo Pigs.
Woo
Who
Pigs hooey.
is where I lean in that game. But wouldn't surprise me if LSU went out there and won by 20 something.
Yeah, no, it would not shock me either. Now we'll lead into it.
There we go.
ECU heads up to West Point to play number 21 Army.
Yeah.
That's
23.
Or 23?
23.
Is it 23?
I believe so. Let me fact
Paul, I
check
got a
that.
bad feeling about this one.
Yeah.
I got a bad feeling about this one.
Yeah.
And I know you think triple option, you think low scoring, time of possession.
No.
Yeah, that's not what you get with Army.
Well, you get the time of possession.
Yeah.
You don't get low scoring.
Yeah.
They go out there and body.
I think they've scored 50 twice this season already.
I can fact check
I
that for you.
know they've done it once. They're going to kill team.
Almost scored 50 once. They
Was
scored
it
49,
48 or
49 against that's their highest point total of the season. 49 at Tulsa.
So yeah. They like to score. I got my football coach to get me some insight on their offense a little bit as the triple option expert in my life.
Shout out Cam.
Shout out Cameron Saletti. They're going to stress that middle option there. They're going to use that. I can't remember what the proper, I guess, wing back or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
They're going to utilize that, and as soon as you start biting on the middle run, they're going to pitch it outside, and you're going to be in trouble.
Yep.
Just from playing Georgia Tech triple option teams, you got to be very gap disciplined.
Yep.
Your eyes have got to be in the spot all game, and you can't take penalties.
No,
and
you cannot.
You can't turn the ball over because well, they're going to have the ball for about 40 minutes. These are all things that don't sound like a recipe for a win for an East Carolina team that turns the ball over,
plays way too
fast, and is going to have their defense out there for an absolute eternity.
Yep.
Who gave up almost 300 yards rushing. Thank God,
Mo Sider. Quick cut into Little Caesars Arena.
Good goal.
It is now a game, but getting back to that. But my thing with this game is the biggest X factor is Bryson Daly, Army's quarterback. Obviously, it's an Army quarterback. We know he can run.
Yeah.
They don't do it a lot, but this team can pass the ball. He can sling the rock, and they are more than capable of catching us off guard at any moment in this game. At any moments, we'll call that plural, because
curls turned into seam routes is what Cam said.
Yeah.
So and
don't
they
love
pass
that.
they pass from the shotgun too. They buy him time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Which I mean, we're gonna grossly outweigh them on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, 100%. But
God,
I think they're gonna out-discipline us though.
Yeah, they're gonna do that too,
because all we seem to be able to do is turn the ball over.
We get a lot of penalties, don't we?
I think so. I don't know exactly. I don't have a stat for that. I came with some stats, but not on penalties.
Damn it!
But that's our biggest crutch is we can't stop turning the ball over, and this is a team that you simply can't do that against, because who knows when you'll get the ball back, but they're gonna make you pay for it.
Yeah,
like they'll capitalize on your mistakes. They're gonna slow the game down like crazy. I pulled up seconds per play. ECU is the quickest team in the country.
Sounds about right.
20.6 seconds per play. Army is the slowest team in the country at 10 seconds slower. So just a whisker over 30 seconds per play it takes Army. It's going to be molasses out there, and this game might be. Army's probably going to dip into the 40s as far as time of possession.
Yeah.
That's another one I got. Army averages 34 minutes of time of possession a game. That number jumps to 37 when they're at home. So they're going to do everything to just beat us into submission and just never allow us to have the ball. Is honestly, I think they know that they're going to be able to score. They might have opportunities to do so early in drives, and they just simply might not take it.
Yeah.
Just to wear us out completely. Last big stat I have on this game. Obviously, we know Army has figured out a way to score a lot of points this season.
Yep.
Their defense is still an Army defense. I'm going to read off their point totals so far this season from week 1 to now. 7, 7, 14, 14, 7, 10. The most points they've allowed at all in a game this season is 14.
If I tell you we're not breaking one of those numbers, would you be shocked?
Yeah. No, I would not be shocked. Is what I say.
Yeah,
I would agree with
had
you.
us right around 10 or 14 points. We're 16-point underdogs. Totals at 51.5, and Army's going to have to do a lot of legwork if you're taking the over.
Yeah, no, this has underwritten all over it. We might not score.
I got 31-10 written all over this.
I could see it being. Honestly, that feels really good. I'll benefit of the doubt. Give us 35-13. I'll give us a touch or give us the extra field goal. But,
yeah, I'll come on here and eat crow next week if somehow we pull off a miracle.
I'd love to just eat every single word that I read.
I'd love to not make a bowl game so we can fire this hack that we have as a head coach.
See, I'm never going to pull for losses, but
I think if we end up making a bowl game, they're going to keep them.
Yeah,
and
but then again, I mean, this is a team that was, if we don't meet our win total, which was at 6.5 for this schedule and the talent that we have on this team, obviously we lost the most talented guy on our roster early on, but I think even if we go 6-6, we get into like the Cure Bowl or something and go out there and just lose that like comfortably, then I still don't see Houston sticking around, but I don't know. I think this game is a horrible spot for us just because we're notoriously just horrible against the option teams.
Yeah.
And I will say, though, I'm glad we get this game because the last game of the season on our schedule is at home against Navy, who is almost a carbon copy that just scores even more points.
Yeah.
So, I think this game will be good for us, win or lose. I don't see us winning this game. I'd be over the moon if it happens, but I think this is a game that just like Army's had throughout the entire season so far, that they're just going to kind of, like I said, beat us to a pulp.
Yeah,
kind of into submission. So,
yeah, I just have to agree with you there. I don't have much more to say. It's a tough time being an ECU fan at the given moment.
Yep.
Jump into our pick six. Don't love the board.
I don't either, but I found some fun spots there.
I'm gonna lead off with my guest pick because I couldn't find a 6 bet. So if this loses, Mackenzie, you were to blame.
Doghouse.
Texas A&M minus 14.5 at Mississippi State. A&M's looked good, bringing themselves into playoff contention.
They have vastly improved.
From Mississippi State showed some life last week and looked resilient. I think penalties helped them a lot in that game.
Definitely. And
coverage breakdowns. I like A&M's defense more than I like Georgia's at this given moment.
I think I do too.
Yeah, give me A&M minus 14.5. Next, I got Louisiana Lafayette minus 4.5 going to Coastal. I don't know. I just like Louisiana.
Underwhelming Coastal team.
Yeah, it's just
Louisiana. Obviously, we've seen them lately, like recently in the last 5 or so years. Obviously, Billy Napier did wonders for that program, but which is funny to think about.
Yeah,
but even still, even since then, I mean, they've been one of the toughest Sun Belt teams you'll find, especially in that West Division. And I think Coastal is just simply not a good football team. No. So honestly, it'd make perfect sense for ECU and Coastal to get another bowl rematch.
Yeah,
if Coastal feels like a team that's going to go to a bowl, but they don't feel like a bowl team, I feel like they're going to benefit from some bad teams on their schedule. But yeah, I like that pick.
Next, I got South Carolina going on the road. I'm pretty sure in beating Oklahoma. in the ugliest game
So do
of
I.
all God blessed time. I thought about taking the under, but I don't live to take unders.
No,
This game might be 10-9.
it might be.
This is going to be just the most atrocious looking football game on the planet. I like the Gamecocks.
I do also. I'll get to that. I'll get back to that.
Next, on the flip side, on two teams that can actually score,
Yep.
got the over in the Miami-Louisville game, over 61.5. I think both these teams comfortably score 30 points. Virginia is going to Clemson. I got Clemson minus 21.5. I think Clemson keeps on rolling.
Yep.
They have looked good since that Georgia game.
Against a surprisingly good Virginia team as well.
Yeah.
They've looked good, but I just don't think they're going to just be able to hang with
They're
Clemson.
clicking. They're scoring over 30 points a game the last couple weeks. I like Clemson in the spot. And finally, I got Oklahoma State at BYU. The Mormons have made me some cash. They might not like that, but give me the Mormons minus 9.5.
I was going to say something. I like that pick. BYU is, they kind of look like a wagon, especially against a bad Oklahoma State. They're just simply not like they're not just underwhelming. They're just not.
They might have the worst quarterback in college football.
Is this the last straw for Gundy?
He's been there forever. It might be time for something new.
He's not going to be the one to leave, I don't think.
No, I think
do they have to make
away from him?
Do they have a decision to make? And I think they might have something to at least consider.
I mean, this is 2 years in a row they were supposed to contend for that conference, and they're not even close.
Yeah. Well, they were supposed to at least be a viable option in that conference because the nation's best running back last year, he just hasn't showed up this year.
No, not at all.
You'd think that he was, but he's been an absolute ghost out there, and he's done nothing. And I think that team is just horrible. So yeah, I like that pick. Give me BYU all day. Is that it for your?
Yeah, six? That's it. That's my six.
We'll get into mine. We'll start off hot. The Northwestern Wildcats are going to Camp Randall Stadium to play Wisconsin. I like this game to be close because I don't think we know Northwestern's not good, but they've shown a little bit of life.
Yeah,
I think this Wisconsin team's not very good either. I think plus 7.5.
They beat the brakes off of Maryland last week.
They did. They destroyed them. Give me Northwestern in this game.
Wildcats, baby.
They could win this game outright, but I'm taking 7.5. Give me a touchdown on that game all day. Then we got Rutgers playing. Oh, actually, no, they're not at Camp Randall. That game's at Evanston. So even more of a reason as a home touchdown underdog. Moving on to Piscataway, New Jersey, where we find the Rutgers Scarlet Knights hosting UCLA in the funniest conference matchup of all time. They are almost a world apart. Rutgers minus 4.5. I think they win this game by double digits.
Yeah, probably.
They're a team that I feel like so far has kind of mucked it up, played some tight games, but they're a good football team. Great rushing attack with it's
I can't.
Monganai, I think is how you say his name. I might be a little wrong there, but either way, I think Rutgers only getting 4.5 here. I think I'm taking them all day, especially at home when UCLA is traveling across the entire country to get there. Give me Rutgers. Here we go. I mentioned this earlier. I didn't quite have the gonads to take the money line here, but give me Illinois plus 3.5 at home against Michigan. That just, like I said earlier, it feels like a game that's kind of built for this Illinois team. It's another power play goal for the New York Rangers. But yeah, I like Illinois in this spot. So I think 3.5. If I like them to win the game, I didn't quite have enough cojones to take the money line, but again, 3.5. We'll take that. Moving on now to Tennessee money line, which is plus 125. Last time I checked earlier today, at home against Alabama. I can't even remember what the spread was on that game. I know you mentioned it, but I can't remember what it is. But just give me the Vols to win at home against an Alabama team that I'm not so sure on. I'm not sure on Tennessee either. Give me the home team there though. Then I got Iowa State minus 13.5 at home against UCF. This UCF team
not as good as once thought.
Went from a preseason like dark horse contender in the Big 12, or in some people's eyes, to now KJ Jefferson is benched, and
Which I'm not surprised.
Got absolutely railed by Colorado a couple of weeks ago at home.
Mhm.
So against a team that I think is going to win the Big 12 at their place, not feeling anything resembling a UCF cover here. So give me 13.5 for Iowa State. And then, like you said, South Carolina, money line on the road at Oklahoma. I saw it earlier at plus 100. So just even Steven, get your money back. But
I got it at plus 100 as well.
But I really like the Cox in that situation against an Oklahoma team that you'd maybe think that they're going to, it's a pissed off Oklahoma team.
No, they can't.
They're just not good. South Carolina is not the best team by any stretch, but I think this is a game that they are more than capable of winning. And I think they're going to. I like South Carolina a lot in this spot because they've been close a lot recently. And I think this is a game that they can go on the road against a quality name brand at least and go get a win that they can hang their hat on. So I like them a lot here. That's my pick 6 though. If you want to run through yours real quick.
Yeah, I got A&M minus 14.5, Louisiana Lafayette minus 4.5, South Carolina money line, Miami and Louisville over 61.5, Clemson minus 21.5, and BYU minus 9.5.
And then I'll run through mine real quick again. I got Northwestern plus 7.5, Rutgers minus 4.5, Illinois plus 3.5, Tennessee money line, South Carolina money line, and Iowa State minus 13.5.
There you go. This is you, buddy.
Hey,
Jersey matchups of the week. There's plenty of them.
What a week for fun alternate uniforms in college football. I'll start off with my uniform of the week. I don't know if you've looked at or if you've seen any of the crazy uniforms going on this week.
Other than the one I sent you, the Oregon Purdue has a sick matchup.
Well, I'll just get into that. My uniform matchup of the week is Purdue against Oregon. Purdue's got their full blackout. Helmets are so fire with the Purdue kind of script alongside with the gold face mask. Beautiful. And then Oregon's going yellow lids with their white jerseys, white pants, with their sort of new throwback sort of look.
Yeah.
It's going to look so good. I'm very excited to watch that game.
Mighty Ducks colors.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's I'm not a big Oregon jersey fan. I like these. I like these so a lot.
Good. Well, they're, like I said, it's like a modern interpretation on kind of their throwback. I almost wore my Oregon throwback sweatshirt. I decided not to, but yeah, that's my matchup of the week is Purdue and Oregon. My uniform of the week, Illinois hosting Michigan with some 1920s throwbacks. They got leather looking helmets and everything. It's so sick. Wearing them against Michigan in honor of Red Grange, all-time college football player, who scored 6 touchdowns in a game against Michigan back in the 1920s. So hopefully Illinois is going to channel some of that Red Grange energy and pull out a W there in those sweet uniforms. Big week for blackouts and whiteouts. Just before we started recording, or honestly, a couple hours before we started recording is the last time I looked at some of the matchups. But just whiteouts this week. We had South Alabama in all white on Tuesday. LSU is going all white this weekend with white pants, white helmets. Such a good look. Probably my favorite look from them. And then James Madison's going icy white too. And then blackouts. Obviously, you got Purdue, you got Iowa State in their blackouts. They're straight black and white uniforms they roll out every year. I always like those. Louisville's got a fun one with, I think it just says cards on the side of their helmet and the script is pretty sick. And then Vandy's going all black as well. I know Oregon State and Old Dominion for their homecomings this weekend. They got some throwback helmets coming. Oregon State's got black, the old Beaver logo and all that. Super dope. And then Old Dominion with one of their throwback looks on a white helmet for homecoming. Other notable teams with alternates, Arizona got a sick uniform this week with their old kind of word mark with the mountains and the cactus and everything. Yeah, it's so good. And then was the Utah one the one that you sent me?
I believe so.
I can't remember. No, you sent me the Purdue-Oregon matchup is what it was. Utah's got another sweet sort of tribal-looking alternate this week. That's all I got written down. There's probably more. It's probably the best jersey week so far this season. I know we're probably due for another one later in the season, but this one is It's a banner day, a
Yeah.
banner weekend for uniforms.
It's been
So that
some
gets
good
me
looking
going.
stuff. Don't really have much
That's-
from the chat here.
That's all I got on unis. Yeah, I don't
Chat
know if we
has
got
been
anything
dead
from the
today.
chat.
Well, that about does it. Unless y'all got some questions.
You can hang around until we
A
hit the
little
hour
bit,
mark if you
yeah.
like.
The Detroit Red Wings still stink. If
Yeah.
anyone was curious. Oh, great. We're back in the penalty box.
Nice. Here comes another power play goal, probably from Artemi Panarin.
Gufferson's been so bad. He's been awful. No, I got a funny, but in all honesty, I do got a funny feeling about the Georgia game. I don't know why.
I could definitely see it. I could definitely
I had
see
just
it.
something. Brooks Austin was talking about it on his local hour Tuesday, I think, and it's eerily similar in completely different spots. But Texas seems like Georgia of last year, where the most complete team in the country. Nobody, it's them. Nobody else really looks as good. And it was Alabama, who had been up and down all year and just hadn't played a complete game, and then they did.
Yeah.
And if that were to happen Saturday, I wouldn't say it's like what I'm predicting, but it
wouldn't shock me at all.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm overly confident.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have a panic attack at 7:30.
Both the red
just
and
hoping
orange.
my barbecue's ready.
Yeah, there you go. I'm hoping for that as well. But both, I've called it. It was
my God.
Panarin power play
got a hat trick.
But yeah, both the red versus orange SEC matchups could be wild.
Yeah,
they could be. This could be.
It was very hard for it not to be an SEC dominated show, if I'm being completely honest.
But you combine that with the Arkansas LSU game that we touched on. I mean,
that was kind of the main reason I left it off a little bit. I was like, I didn't really want to put 3 up there.
But even that South Carolina Oklahoma game could be a very good game.
Who's got Breadman? The Breadman.
I don't know. Whoever it is, I'm tired of.
Oh, it's Zach.
I'm tired of Panarin though, because if you look right here at Vincent Trocheck, who I'm playing against,
he scored.
He's got a goal and 3 assists. he's got an assist on every Panarin goal. I guess we could probably bounce out of here if we want.
Yeah.
Soft close for you.
A little soft close. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, Twitter, retweet, share it with a friend.
Tweet at us.
And we'll
whatever
be back
questions or ideas you might have.
With the best, Jesus Christ.
We can't even do an outro.
Why are we this bad? Call up Marco Casper, and we'll see y'all next week in week 9. That'll do it for the Downey Sports Show. If I can do my job, we will see y'all next week. Adios.